Hello, welcome to Beachview Podcast with Bryce and Jen. Today we're going to talk about something that we all do, something that we all know and love, some more of us than others, and that is our favorite shows.
Oh, favorites?
Well, not necessarily favorite. We just talk about a show. Okay, Bryce, what is a show, like a Netflix or TV, like whatever online show that you like to watch, and tell me why you like to watch it? How's that?
Yeah. Well, you said favorite, and I was scrambling for a second. It's like, oh, I liked this show, but I wouldn't call it my favorite.
Well, that's okay. We could get into whatever, or most current show that you watch, just a show that you watched and you liked, and you can talk about it.
I think this is the most recent one I've watched too, but I'm not positive on that.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, anyways, it's called Invincible. I don't know if you've heard of it. Probably not.
Invincible. I don't think I have heard of that.
Okay, well, it's an animated superhero show based on a comic book. It's an indie comic book.
Okay.
And yeah, I started watching it because people were talking about it a lot, and I figured, I had some time to kill before one of the Euro matches, to throw back to one of our previous podcasts. So I decided I'll watch an episode, see if I like it before that. There was a lot of memes made of it, so I was like, might as well. If I don't like it, I can stop after one episode, and it's just a way to kill some time before a match was coming up. And,
okay.
I like superhero stuff. I wouldn't say it's my favorite genre of all time, and especially right now, because it's so oversaturated that, it's easy to get tired of it.
Well, where does this come on? Like, what platform do you watch this on?
Do not ask me that. I don't know. And
I think, I've never seen this.
Not say where I find these things.
Is it illegal? Are you illegally downloading shows? You're gonna get arrested.
I abstain from the question.
Okay. So it's some back market that I've never heard of, probably.
Sure.
Maybe that's why I haven't seen it. Whose like account are you toggling into illegally to watch this? Oh, well. Okay, well, tell me a little bit about it. Like, what's the premise of the show?
Okay, it's a pretty basic superhero thing. So it follows the main character, who's a teenager named Mark Grayson, and he's just getting his superpowers for the first time, and he's trying to do the whole crime-fighting thing. He's named Invincible. That's why the show is called Invincible. That's his superhero name. Okay. And it's about him learning how to use his powers and that, and his dad is the equivalent of Superman in this, He's a knockoff Superman. It's riffing on that.
A dollar store version.
Yeah, it's not a DC property, so.
Okay. So, is this like a series?
Yeah.
Okay. How many episodes
it's
have
only
you
8
watched?
episodes, though, which is pretty short.
Okay. But is it like a limited series, or like will there be another season?
I think it got renewed for another season. It's based on a comic book, and it had like cliffhangers in it, so presumably, there's more material to work from.
Interesting. So have you ever seen the comic book?
No.
Now you had to go get the comic book and
no,
look at
I'm
it.
not doing that.
No. I always do that, like when I watch a show that I like I look up if it was based on a book, and then I'll go get the book and read it.
Yeah.
You're not so much, you're not doing that?
No. So, do you care about spoilers at all?
No, I don't care.
Okay, so I'm gonna get into a spoiling thing. It's mostly basic superhero stuff, but there's one mystery it carries throughout, which is, like, the premise is basically, what if Superman were evil?
Ooh.
Which is kind of a done thing, there's a lot of comics and shows and whatnot that at some point explores that, and people like, oh, what if Superman went evil? Could Batman beat him, or could the Justice League beat him? Talk about that sort of thing sometimes. So it's usually not like an interesting sort of direction to take your superhero thing in. But I think this one, like, because in the first episode, like, at the end, there's a scene where the equivalent of Superman kills the equivalent of the Justice League. And the mystery is, like, why he did it. You know, was he, like, being mind controlled or something? Did he have a legitimate reason? And the twist would actually be, oh, the Justice League was evil or something. But no, he's just, you know, a bad guy.
Oh, so the dad
Yes.
of the kid is the supposed Superman. So is he evil in the show?
Yeah, but, like, it's... And I think the reason why I said, you know, part of why I like it, is because it's done pretty well. It's taken in a different direction, because it's usually something like mind control, or like, oh, he just turned evil, or what if the Superman was a bad guy from the beginning, or something, and it's... But, this one is... So, you know, like, Superman's an alien, right? You know, like, the basics of the...
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of. I mean...
Well,
like uranium or something. What was it that
What?
turned him into... Is that Superman? Like...
That's
what
Spider-Man. You mean the radioactive spider?
Okay, Superman's an alien. Okay,
Yes.
I vaguely remember, like, seeing, like, an intro or something with Superman, and he, like, I don't know. Like, I'm just picturing some, like, glowing rock or something. But
Yes, that's
I'm probably thinking
kryptonite.
of radioactive.
That's
okay,
famous
kryptonite. Okay, yeah, okay.
But
yeah, I got it.
yeah, Superman's an alien. The origin story is his home planet is Krypton's dying for whatever reason.
Oh, okay.
And his parents decide to, like, just because the planet's dying, they might as well just put him in a little spaceship as a baby, and they shoot him off into space, and he lands on Earth, and he gets raised by,
like, launch him to Earth.
Yeah, he gets raised by good
Okay.
parents and becomes Superman. You know, this superhero. He's got super strength, and he can fly, and he can go really fast, and he can. He's basically invincible. You know, it's hard to hurt him.
So if Superman had stayed on his normal planet, like, would he just be, like, regular?
I think that's how I think it has something to do with, like, the sun in Superman lore. Like, a yellow sun makes Kryptonians, or whatever they're called, superpowered. Of course, in this version, the alien's just superpowered because he's superpowered. Like, that's just... He's part of an alien species that's like humans, but superpowered.
I got you.
And
okay.
the twist
Makes sense.
with this one is instead of him coming to Earth, you know, as a baby and whatnot, he's... The Krypton equivalent is actually an empire, and they were conquering everywhere, and eventually they got stretched thin and ran out of manpower, so their new plan is to send individuals out to different planets and do sort of like an espionage mission, you know, to sort of like survey the landscape and then sabotage any potential resistance before invading. And he like comes initially like as and presents himself as sort of like a humanitarian worker. Like he comes and does the Superman things, you know, he plays superhero, he tries to save the world, you know, help with disasters and stuff like that. But he's really just biding his time for his real mission, which is why he kills the other superheroes in the world.
So it's basically like colonization.
Right, yeah. And I think that's an interesting take on this because, you know, usually when you do the what if Superman were evil, they go with the, like, really obvious route. Like, oh, he's just evil and not, like, he's ideologically evil, you know, he's part of an empire and he's trying to conquer Earth.
I got you. Okay. So I like that little twist on it. That's one, like, I've never watched before. I've never really seen any of the stuff where, like, Superman is evil.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is kind of a more creative kind of, like, let's give him this whole other backstory. And so how does it play out, like, with the main character is his son, right? So
yes.
How does that play out?
Well, yeah, so he, you know, it does a lot of normal superhero and especially, like, high school age superhero stuff where there's the, like, work-life balance, you know, like trying to balance being a superhero and going out and doing that and, like, you know, having a relationship or doing schoolwork and stuff like that. And it also gets into, like, pretty typical, like, like superhero antics that feels like straight out of another show. But the ending is like that confrontation between the two. Like the dad finally reveals himself. It's like, yeah, so we work for this empire. That's your destiny, and we're gonna conquer this planet. And he's like, no, I don't want to do that. And it's it's just really, like, that last episode I think is really well done, and not just like that conflict, but the character work leading up to it and how it's done.
Yeah.
So I think, and that in particular is why I like it. Like, it's pretty basic stuff, really, but I think it handles it well. You know, it's well written, it's well voice acted, like, the plotting and pacing writing's good, the characters, like, the characterization's good.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay. Alright. What's it called? Invincible?
Yes.
Awesome. I have to check that out on some sketchy back channel.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd be interested in it, but I liked it. It was alright.
Well, that's good. I'm just surprised, like, you wouldn't want to, like, read the actual comic.
I don't. I don't
I'm
really
always like,
comics.
I want to go read the book. Yeah. I would just want to check it out just to see what it's all about. But, I mean, I guess it's basically the same.
Yeah, the same
kind of storyline, but yeah. Well, that's cool. Okay, that's like a different kind of show, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have a show you liked that you wanted to talk about?
Yes. Yeah, so one show that I wanted to talk about is, get ready, it's Gossip Girl.
Okay.
And the reason I wanted to talk about it is because they just did a reboot. So, like, I think it's, 12 years later, 8 years later? I don't even know how many years later, but they did a reboot that's on HBO Max now. And so anyway, that's why I kind of wanted to bring it up again. So I did not watch Gossip Girl when it first came out, which I think was in I think 2007, 2008, something like that. So I didn't watch it. I didn't really know much about it. I mean, I was, busy having like a real job and that kind of stuff. So I didn't take part in it. So years later, when I got Netflix, I started watching it and I was like obsessed with it. Like I watched it like twice, like the whole series. I don't know, I just like got really into it. And I was trying to figure out like why I was so obsessed, like as an adult, like watching this like, high school, college series, like why am I that obsessed? But so I think at the time it was like really kind of pushing the envelope. Have you ever watched it?
No, I am vaguely familiar with it. What is it? I Know You Love Me, XOXO, Gossip Girl. Is that the line?
Yes, that's it.
Oh, I got it. Okay, cool. That's
good job.
Yeah, it's about someone started a blog where they gossip about everybody in the school or whatever.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So at the time, it was kind of like, well, it started as a book, and the book was kind of like ahead of its time because it was using technology as like this way to spread rumors. And I say ahead of its time because like texting wasn't like, it was just starting like in those few years that the book came out, and anyway, it was a way that information was being spread that like people hadn't used that as a storyline before, okay? Like maybe in other instances, but not like this. So, and of course it follows like these, high profile, like super rich kids, and then like the kids who don't have as much money who live in Brooklyn, and it was like this whole thing. But I liked it because it really was like pushing the envelope with what was seen on TV at the time, and especially what was like targeted to like younger kids. And so I thought that was really funny how they used, like, they did their first season and all these people were like upset about it because they were showing like one girl losing her virginity in the back of a limo and like, you know, other kids like doing drugs and like it was just kind of like risque for what was shown on TV at the time, especially like for younger kids. And so what I liked was I thought this was like a good PR move was that the show for the second season, I think, took that and used it to their advantage. So like I remember this like poster or like scene that was Serena van der Woodsen's the main character, one of the main characters, and she's like they show her basically like making out with these like two guys, and it says like your parents' worst nightmare or every parent's worst nightmare, and they use like texting language like WTF, but they made that mean like watch this fall. And like just OMG, like all this stuff. So anyway, I thought they took the negative. This was like 07, 08, okay? So it was funny because it was like they took like the bad reviews and they used it for their own, like
that
to get more people.
Usually seems lame to me. It kind of.
No, I liked it. I thought because
it's like the edgy 90s advertising sort of thing, you know what I mean?
It was, but it was funny because they never had done that for younger kids, like the younger audience. And it was kind of like, well, we don't care. Like, this is what we're doing. But what I find hilarious now, like, I think this is so stupid. Like, the cast, like, some of the cast members, like, Penn Badgley and Blake Lively have, like, come out and said, like, you know, kind of like not apologize, but like they're almost ashamed that they acted in the series because it was targeted to younger people and it was like not a good influence for girls or like, you know, stuff like that. So like now that they're grown and have their own kids like in real life, they're like, oh no, yeah, I don't think that was a good part. You know, I don't think we should have done that. And I'm like, dude, shut up. Like that show launched your career. Like nobody would know who you were without that show. And you're really sitting here going, oh, we should have never done that. Like, that's not appropriate for children. And you're like, really? But you did it at the time. Like, well, so yeah, just be quiet, collect your money, and be happy.
You can regret things. I think that's fair.
They can regret them, but I don't like how they're talking disparagingly about it. Like, you did that. You knew what you were doing at the time. You know, like, just because you're, like, older and have kids, like, you're trying to say, oh, that's not a good show. Like, please. Like, you're still reaping the benefits from it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like when actors, like, go back and say, yeah, like, I really shouldn't have done that. Like, I'm ashamed of that. I mean, I know you can be ashamed of something, but I don't know. I feel like it's just all an act. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know of any, like, cases, like, other than, like, actors that clearly don't care about something and are like we're only there for the paycheck. Like Harrison Ford in Star Wars, like famously doesn't care about Star Wars as much as the fans care about Star Wars.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, but I mean, I find that endearing because Star Wars fans are weird.
Well, no argument there. Yeah, no, but anyway, I thought it was just funny that they came out like just like in the last couple of years, like, oh yeah, that's not a good show for people to watch. And I'm like, shut up, sit down, collect your paycheck and be quiet. But no, I get it too. But I think I like it because you ever like, I don't know if you do, but just seeing how like other people live. And I know like the show is kind of not a parody, but kind of just like over the top, like how rich people live on the Upper East Side kind of thing. And I just like to see that kind of stuff because it's just like, you know, and they do a lot of like comparing like the rich kids versus the poor kids kind of thing. I just think that's interesting. And I don't know. It's just, to me, I don't know why. I was sitting there going like, why am I obsessed with this? But it's just like easy watching.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you just want to watch something like, you know, like that's not, I don't like very dramatic stuff that is like social unrest and like stuff that really like makes you feel like bad like or sad. I don't like that kind of drama. Like I just like to, you know, be happy and watch something that's kind of like meaningless to me, you know, because it's an escape for me. Like you just kind of like, chilling, watching something, maybe late at night before bed or something like that. And I don't want to get into like deep social injustices. I just want some like fluff to watch, okay? So anyway, I was obsessed with that. I watched it a couple times. I was very bummed out when it went off of Netflix because it went to HBO Max. And I don't want to pay for another streaming service, so I was like, oh well, whatever. But last weekend I saw the first episode of the new Gossip Girl, which is like a whole new cast and new situation. Like it's at the same school and it's like these like super rich kids, but there's also like this time it looks like they're doing like the teachers are like the poorer one. I don't know if that's a that's a thing. But I guess the less rich people, I don't know how you say that. They're in a different socioeconomic class than the super rich students, okay? So the teachers get involved as like the Gossip Girl people. And they start like trying to get power over the students because the students like run their lives. So I watched like the first and second episode. And at first I was like, I don't know about this. This is kind of rough, like it's not too great. Like the cast is, I don't know. But then once I watched the second one, I was kind of getting more into it. So I have a feeling this is going to be my new series that I'll watch. It should be fun. So you haven't seen any of it?
No. I have heard people talking about it online occasionally, but that's it.
It's super goofy, but I just love it. So I think I'm going to get into the new one. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, spin-offs often have a habit of being kind of, like, not as good as the original,
lame.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to watch, because when I was, like, way younger, 90210 was a big show. And it was kind of, like, older for me, but we all still watched it when we were kids. And so, like, several years ago, they tried to do a reboot of 90210. And it was available on Netflix. And I watched it, and it was pretty, like, I don't know about this. It was not the same at all. So, which I guess you don't expect it to be the same, but...
Yeah.
I don't know. You expect it to be just as good?
Yeah, yeah.
And this one was like over the top, Have you seen that one at all?
No.
I wouldn't expect you to. Yeah. So, yeah, I was kind of nervous about, like, I don't know, is this going to be terrible? But it was, I mean, at first I was like, this is pretty bad, but then I got into it, and I was like, I think I could like it. So, we'll see.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll see.
You
I won't.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll see. I'll let you know all about it. Not that you care, but... Okay. So, speaking of stuff that we've watched recently or not recently, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how long ago you watched that show. But, so what's the current obsession? Have you watched anything lately that, is good that I should get into? Or that you want to talk about?
I don't know about you getting into, and it's not exactly current, but a week ago, on the date of recording, it ended about a week ago, was Games Done Quick, specifically Summer Games Done Quick, which, for people who don't know, is a speedrunning marathon where people play games as fast as possible, and, just as like there's a community around it. People like doing that because they think it's fun. And they do that and raise money for charity. So I was watching some of that. It's a week-long event, and, for the whole week, 24/7, they're showing constant speed runs.
Oh, so what, is it just one game?
No,
or is
no,
it like
it's
multiple
several
different
games. They, switch games at, like, you do a game and then you finish it and then you go on to the next one.
Oh, okay. So how many people do this? Like a group of people? Like, how does
Yeah,
this work?
several. I mean, it pulled in, I don't know total viewerships and whatnot, but it was consistently getting like 70,000 concurrent watchers.
Wow, that's a lot. So you watch online?
Yeah, it's streamed online.
Okay. Like in real time, like you're watching live, like as they're playing? That's cool. Cool. So who are they raising money for?
For in the summer, when they do it, they raise money for MSF, or I'm not going to pronounce the French. You can try if you want, but Doctors Without Borders.
Oh, yeah, no, I can't pronounce it either. but that's cool. Yeah, I'm not going to try to butcher that beautiful language. I mean, I know some Cajun words, so that's it. So that's cool. So what it raises money for them? Like who pledges? Like anybody can pledge?
Yeah, it's just like you can donate, and some like you can attach a message to it, and sometimes it'll get read out. They have different incentives, like if we meet this much money, we'll play an extra, like add an extra game, like as an incentive to get people to do things.
Oh, that's cool.
Some games have things where, like, if you can name something in the game, like they'll do an incentive where people can donate and say, I want the name to be this. Just stuff like that.
That's cool. So it's kind of like, I guess I think of it as like a Relay for Life kind of thing.
Yeah,
like they do American Cancer Society, but it's like gaming and not like running or walking. Yeah. Okay, I thought at first when you said a speed running, I thought it meant like running. Like I took it literally, but you meant like,
no, playing,
gaming. I got
playing
it.
games as fast as possible.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So can anybody join it? Like, can anybody play the games, I guess? Or is it just like set people? Like, and how do they pick these people who play?
They submit beforehand. Like, they submit their game and their run, like, beforehand, and then there's a committee that chooses like what games they're going to put in.
Oh, that's so cool. So is it a French thing since it's been a
No.
French
Doctors Without Borders is an international organization.
Yeah, but you said it was the French version, right?
Oh, so... no, I said the French. That's the name of it in French, is MSF.
Right. That's why I was asking if this is like a French thing specifically.
No, it's an American thing. It attracts some
I got you.
worldwide stuff, but there's European speedrun streams, like charity streams sometimes too.
I got you. That's cool. So you watched the whole thing, or how did you watch it? You just kind of...
you just like either, put on as background noise, or if you look at the schedule and you say, that game looks interesting, or that, looks like it'd be a fun speedrun, you watch that when it comes up. But it's mostly just a neat thing to have on, hey, let me pull that up, see what it's doing.
That's cool. Have you found any, new games that way? Like, have you watched one and you're like, oh, I want to try that?
Not really, no.
Or is it just
I don't...
stuff you already know?
Well, they do play some obscure games sometimes. I've just never, played them.
Yeah. Gotcha. That's cool. I just don't know anything about, gaming. So, I'm just curious, asking questions, But that's pretty cool. Well, that's an enjoyable thing. So, are the Euro games over? I know you were watching those.
Yes, that has been over.
I'm, late on the news. Late on the sports news.
So, yeah, usually the, more popular games, the well-known games, I'm just not as interested in to watch. For whatever reason, I find they usually make boring speed runs.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
maybe
just
because
me.
you played them.
Well, even ones
you already know what's
even
happening.
Ones I haven't played that are just popular. I just there's a series called Dark Souls that's super popular, and I'm never interested in watching any of the Dark Souls runs that they have.
I got you. Just not into it, huh?
Yeah. But my favorite ones are always the weird, obscure games, especially if they're kind of badly made. Those always have, because the game itself is interesting, and there's usually a ton of glitches involved in that. If it's because if it's poorly made, if it's something rushed out, or just something that's a budget title or something, you get a lot of really interesting run throughs for them.
So, do you ever have players who are just terrible at the game?
No. You have to be good at it for them to accept.
Oh, I got you.
I mean, there's been some mess ups in the past. Obviously it's it's not a set thing. Sometimes they do have a set time limit because it's an event. And if you go you allot a certain amount of time, you say my run's going to take this long, and if you go over, you could get cut off if you go too far over.
I got you. Oh, interesting. I gotta tune in next time. You have to tell me when it's coming up. I'm gonna go tune in. Well, if I could figure out how to get it. How to get on there. Is this illegal too?
No, not at all.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. That's awesome.
You go on Twitch, which is owned by Amazon, so it's
perfectly legit.
It's kind of a big deal, yeah.
I've been seeing more like Twitch references, like in interviews or like articles I read. Like they'll say so and so said on Twitch, blah blah blah, you know. And I just think that's kind of funny because, you know, you don't really hear about Twitch a whole lot, I guess, if you're not really into that. But I've been seeing it more and more like the past month or so. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It's like they're doing more content, like more like, I guess, celebrities or like interviews and different things on Twitch.
Celebrities have been going on it more and more as it increases in popularity.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Huh. Well, all right. Well, anything else to say about that?
No. So what's your current thing you're watching, obsession or what have you?
Okay, well, so this, I guess my current obsession is not necessarily the show, but it's a show that was based on a book, and I'm currently reading the book, so...
Did you watch the show first?
Yeah, so I watched the show Killing Eve. Have you ever seen it?
Yes,
or heard of it?
And I didn't like it.
You didn't like it? I liked it. Why didn't you like it?
I thought we had this conversation before.
I don't know. We might have. I don't remember at all.
I thought we talked about it.
Did we?
Well, not on
the
podcast, so...
Okay. I do not remember us talking about this, but you didn't like the show.
No.
Why?
Oh god, it's so the premise is something that like is this very like pulpy like spy fiction sort of, you know, like dime store sort of thing. It has to have a certain tone for it to work, and I feel like it is far too dour. It plays it straight and it doesn't work at all.
I liked it because I like the girl who plays Villanelle.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Sandra Oh's in that, right?
Yes,
She is a voice actress in Invincible.
Oh, really? That's cool. Well, look, we have some crossover.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, yeah, no, so I really liked Killing Eve, which is not something I would normally like because it's like this girl who's an assassin, and I don't like watching like violent things or like people getting killed or anything like that, but she's basically like a sociopath, and she's like an assassin who works for this like elite group called the 12. And Eve is she is the like MI6 agent who is like assigned to like following her, and she becomes obsessed with her, and then they become obsessed with each other, and it's like a whole like kind of cat and mouse game thing, you know. But I really liked the show. I thought it was really good, and that's the one that I really like to watch. So I discovered that like a lot of shows is based on a book. So I never bought the book for, you know, a few years that I've been watching the show. I haven't bought the books because I don't know. I just don't like, this is terrible. I'm such a big reader, but I don't like spending money on the books. And they were still too expensive, in my opinion, on the Kindle because, you know, sometimes Kindle is cheaper. And I just didn't want to pay for it. So for my birthday this year, Travis got me the trilogy that the show is based on. So I started reading that. I read the first book. I just started the second book the night before last, but I was so tired. Like I only got 9 pages in and then like fell asleep. So I haven't gotten too far into it. But the books are really good. And like the first book is basically the first season of the show. And it's, you know how sometimes when you read the book and it's like not at all like the show or the movie or whatever?
Yeah, changes in adaptation, yeah.
Yeah, and then sometimes it's just like you just don't get the same feel. You don't, you know, the characters are different and you just don't like, because it's incongruous, like in your head, like, well, I thought it was like this and this is not at all like this, you know? But this one, it's very similar to the show. Like the first season, a lot of the stuff in the first book is shown in the first season, and of course it's different in the adaptation, but it's got a lot of the same elements. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So anyway, I'm enjoying it. I'm on the second book. I'm going to see how it goes. I don't know if there are any more. I think it's just this trilogy. So I'll have to look into that. But I was like, I don't know why I spent so long like not buying it, because I'm enjoying them, but I just don't like to spend money on books. I like to get them cheap, you know? So anyway, thanks to Travis for finally buying these for me. He's probably heard me talking about it and like, all right, just buy it, you know? So.
Can I make a maybe mean joke?
Yes.
Have you heard of this thing called the library?
Yeah, I have. I looked it up to see if we had it at the library, and we don't.
Oh, so. Okay.
But you can recommend books to the library, and what I do now is I usually borrow the digital library books so I can read them on my Kindle or on my phone. Because it's just, you know, like how often do you actually get to the library? Which is, it's really a shame. But I usually just go online, and I am forever like, I'll find a book that I like, but I won't buy it, and I'll just go see if it's in the digital library, and it's not. And so I recommend books all the time to the library, and then they let you know when they actually get them. But they don't get all the books I recommend, so I'm like, still waiting. So anyway, so there you go. I do utilize the library a lot, and I'm a big advocate for libraries, so.
Yeah, well, I wanted to get that joke in. I thought it was funny, at least.
Yeah. No, but for real, though, I do love the library. The library just needs to have more books that, like, I actually want to read, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'll do? I'll see a book in the bookstore, I'll, like, snap a picture of it on my phone, and then I go look it up on the Kindle to see how much it is, and if it's still too much, I go look it up on the library. And then if the library doesn't have it, I recommend it, and I get on the wait list, so then they can email me when it's ready. So it's like a whole process, but, you know, it's what I do. But I don't know why, like, I should want to support writers in the publishing industry because I love to read so much, but I just want to get stuff as cheap as possible. I don't know why I have such a problem, like, paying full price for a book, like, when I actually get a lot of enjoyment out of it, you know?
It's just one of those things, I guess, you know, you don't want to, like, you look at it and you're like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's like paying for music. I just don't want to pay for music. I want it for free. You know? But anyway, so yeah, that's my current obsession. That's my feelings about the library. What else can we get into?
I mean, we could argue about Killing Eve if you wanted to.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, I really enjoyed Killing Eve. I don't understand. Like, why you didn't like it. You don't like Villanelle, the character?
She's fine. I don't think, like, again, my main issue is, one, the tone. Like, that just, it is a type of story that has to be done with that sense of pulp, with that sense of, like you need a certain tone to it, and this plays it completely straight. And it's just so dour that I, like, couldn't stand it. And then it started, like, bleeding into the, like, conspiracy parts of it, and I just couldn't care about that. Like, that's not really my sort of thing, usually. Like, plot-wise.
Really?
Yeah, I don't really, like, I don't know, just not something I'm typically interested in.
Well, I'll tell you, at first, I didn't think Sandra Oh was going to have a lot of chemistry with Villanelle. I keep forgetting her name. I know her name, but I can't think of it right now. But the girl who plays the girl who plays Villanelle. But I didn't think they would have a lot of chemistry. But as you got into it, they definitely did. And I loved Constantine, like Villanelle's kind of
handler.
Yeah, I really liked him too. Like, I don't know, I started liking them all, and I got really into it. I'm just surprised you didn't, so sad. I thought we could share this.
I mean, I only watched the first season. I don't know if it gets better from there, but I doubt it.
I like it, and you know, one of the other things I like is the travel. Like, they go to all different parts of Europe and Russia and, like, all these different places. Yeah. And I like to see that, too. But honestly, I think it's just interesting, like, how they portray, like, her as a sociopath who, like, doesn't feel guilt when she kills somebody, that kind of thing is, like, which is incredibly creepy and morbid, but, like, I think the character that she plays is, like, lovable, but also crazy at the same time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
I feel like that's a lot of serial killer media, though.
Oh, it definitely is. Yeah, they do. They do. And normally I don't mess with serial killer stuff at all. Like, I get really creeped out about it. But for some reason, this one doesn't bother me. I think because it's like she's a hired assassin.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know why. I don't know why that would make a difference, but it does.
Well, because,
like, more removed from reality, you know?
a serial killer targets indiscriminately. A hired assassin, like, has a specific, like, it's a different
Targeted
genre,
list.
I feel,
Yeah.
like, when you're getting into that.
It is.
Then you start getting into the spy and conspiracy stuff.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I guess that this one does kind of get into that because of the 12 and who's mixed up in it and that kind of thing. But I don't know. Look, give it another try. You might like it more.
I don't know. I doubt it.
You like, no.
I doubt it.
It
Changes its course significantly after the first season.
No. Honestly, I don't even remember the second season. Like, I need to watch it again. So maybe that's what I'll do this weekend because it's like raining constantly. So kind of stuck inside. I'm gonna pull up season 2, Killing Eve. Get into that.
And then read
or maybe I'll just read the book. Obviously, I'm like, yeah, I got this book. I'm just started. I gotta finish reading that. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll read the book and then I'll go rewatch the season. There you go.
Yeah.
Sounds like a fun, exciting weekend, doesn't it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean, oh well.
All right. Well.
All right. Well.
Yeah.
Anything else to say about current obsessions?
No.
Okay.
I don't have anything. Do you?
No, but tune in next week. I might have a new current obsession. Who knows?
All right. Well, that's been Beach View. I hope you enjoyed listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.